Coming to you live from the Totally Immersed studios of the south coast of New South Wales, as well as the Great Lakes district of the mid-north coast. It's time for Totally Immersed TV on the radio. Ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Vincentia, on the shores of the Moona Jervis Bay, your host for the evening, Mr. Paddy Butler.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Taylor. Welcome to Totally Immersed TV on the radio. Look, we've been threatening to do it, bring it back. And look, the evening, the day, the night, it's 9 o'clock at the moment, but it has arrived and we're here. We're having fun. We're here now for the first in this series of live yarns from abroad, from here, there, everywhere, and a new edition to Totally Immersed Experience for 2026. Look, we hope you're going to enjoy it, if not tolerate it. The weekly, bi-weekly broadcasts. So we're hoping to have a bit of fun and get into a bit of a discussion on this and that, yarn with some interesting people and keep you up to date with the latest and greatest things going on in the world of not only Hobie Cat racing, but catamaran sailing in general and maybe whatever other topics that might take our fancy. So speaking of fancy, I'd like to introduce you to my partner in entertainment here this evening. From the shores of the amazing Wallace Lake on Warramah Country, the Cowboy King of Green Point, Mr. Michael Taylor.
Good evening, Paddy. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here for our first yarn of the year, Totally Immersed TV on the radio. What a concept.
So, thank you, MT. It's a busy half hour ahead, so we're going to start maybe a little bit more than a half hour ahead. We'll see how we go. But we're going to start with the latest news. So, we're going to yarn about New South Wales State Championships, which is in Wanji on Lake Macquarie this weekend. We'll wrap up the Pits Design and Construction, Hobie Cat Nationals in Bustleton. And then we'll yap about the Hobie 14 states that just took place in Mandurah, WA, over the weekend. So we've got a few special guests that are going to join us and talk to us about that regatta later on.
Awesome, Pat. Now, before we get into all that, I've got to ask you, is it true there have been some changes to the administration of the Australian Hobie class? And are you prepared to share your thoughts on that with our audience tonight?
Yeah, look, I'm sure some people are well aware and know what has happened, but for those that may not, it is true that we conducted the AGM for the ANHCA, the Australian National Hobie Class Association, and there were a number of changes to the office bearers and committee. And it's going to have a little bit of a different look moving forward, but a positive one, that's for sure. I'll run through the changes individually before. But before I want to do that, I want to talk to and acknowledge the contribution of our much-loved outgoing committee. There's Cam Dazzy, the president, Nones Chu, the secretary, and the amazing Juliet Bates, whose significant roles over the last or so years has meant that they're handing over the reins of the ANHCA in very, very, very good shape and leaving the incoming committee with a very high bar to follow, that's for sure.
Pressure's on, Paddy.
Yes, yeah, it is. And look, I think it's a good time to announce that I, in fact, took on the role as president and I was elected and okay to be the role as the president of the ANHCA, which is super awesome and leading into our nationals later this year in Jervis Bay, New South Wales. It's going to be a big job. But in addition, the current Hobie 16 world champion, Susie Gent, has jumped on board as the secretary, along with the amazing Victorian Hobie legend that is Mads Gillard as the treasurer. So we've got a very national body, myself from New South Wales, Susie in WA, and Mads from Victoria jumping on. So pretty diverse and, super awesome opportunity.
Well, that's fantastic, Paddy, and congratulations to you. I'm sure you'll give it
Thank
a good
you.
crack. We all know you well, and we all know that you'll give it your 110%, so I'm sure that'll be fantastic. We'll give you a little bit of time to settle into the role, but I'm sure over the next while, maybe in one of our future episodes, you can tell us about your thoughts about, how the committee's going, your role as president, and what you think lies ahead in Hobie Land, a leader's vision, if you will.
Yeah, so I reckon more than capable. We'll get to it. in baby steps. But I want to get on to some current news. So, firstly, we're gonna have a chat about it to our special guest later this evening. But SailGP in Freo. I mean, haven't spent the whole weekend up in the Big Smoke. I was in Sydney that weekend. I was pretty jealous to watch the majority of the WA Hobie family, along with sold out crowds, absolutely lapping it up on the shores of Fremantle.
I
Um, Amazing.
completely agree. I watched it from the shoreline myself in Sydney. The racing in Fremantle looked stunning, to say the least. It was kind of a bit like Busselton with crystal clear water, but they had a solid and consistent sea breeze for both days of racing, and it was it was awesome racing. It was a great event.
Oh, 100%. Like as much as Busselton was as beautiful, but it was a tricky place to race. And Freo just looked like it was bliss. The fleet, yeah, that fleet of F50s had absolutely champagne sailing. Speaking of GP, it's coming up in what, three weekends time in Sydney. Yeah, last weekend of Feb. Having missed Freo, I'm absolutely very keen to get up to Sydney and watch it from the harbour. Plus, most importantly, it's actually Mardi Gras weekend in Sydney, so it's going to be a party in uh in the Big Smoke, and I'm going to have a lot of fun. And the whole Vinny crew that's coming up, got a lot of the New South Wales Hobie family getting there, and just a lot of sailors in general. It's going to be a fun weekend in Sydney. Taylor, are you going to be joining us that weekend?
I would love to be there. I will be busy on a safety boat that weekend. We're up here at the Great Lakes state titles over
Oh,
that
lovely.
week, which is an important weekend for the club. So I'll be out there helping. We're expecting a good turnout, and I'll have my hands full down there. But I I've seen not last year, but the year before. I saw the SailGP event in Sydney, and it was awesome. It was
That's
fantastic.
right. We were a bit of a local knowledge bit for those that aren't aware, but we watched it from Bradley's Head, didn't we? Just near Taronga. It's lovely. Get the ferry from Circular Quay, Taronga, walk out to the end of the point, and it was perfect in the nor'easter. The line or the marks were just there. It was excellent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great.
So yeah. All right. Moving on. Big news from the East Coast coming up this weekend, 14th to 15th of Feb, is the New South Wales Hobie Cat State Championships at Wanji, Lake Macquarie. Now, the last time the Hobie family actually raced, because we've been on Lake Macquarie a fair bit, but the last time we actually raced out of Wanji was in 2023, just after the 50th Hobie Cat Nationals. And it was an awesome weekend of racing. We had a big westerly the first day and a lovely southeasterly the second day, sunshine all weekend. So we're very, very excited to get back to Wanji. It's a very well run club. There's amazing people there. So, and it is almost the best spot to sail on the whole of Lake Macquarie. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
I am obviously looking forward to it. I mean, Wanji 2023 was just a tiny bit before my time.
Mm.
I think my first race was Toukley 2024, I think. So that
I
was a
think
year
that's
before
correct.
me,
Yeah.
but I've seen the footage on the Totally Immersed TV, and it looked terrific, and everybody always raves about what a fantastic place it is. There's whatever's in the water in Perth at the moment, obviously, has to be in the water at Wanji, because how many good sailors have come from Wanji? I mean,
Well, a lot, a lot of like I was just
it's
thinking then about some of that media. We had the very amazing Bow Outridge come and take photos on the Sunday of the 2023 states at Wanji, and some of the best shots that the New South Wales Association have been using for the last number of years has come from that event, and that was an awesome weekend. But some of the most prolific Wanji sailors would be Bo's older brother, SailGP legends, would be gold medalist Nathan Outridge and Ian Jensen as well. But there's also some closer to home Wanji Hobie heroes in our fleet, and especially this weekend, like MB, obviously a Wanji boy. Jed Thatcher's racing this weekend, another Wanji boy. Waddy, Mr. Stephen Waddy, our PRO, is a long time Hobie sailor, and a very and now he's been our PRO for a number of regattas now. We've actually been joined this weekend by Mr. Randy Cunningham, the infamous Jody Shields, which is his first time sailing a Hobie 14. So it's going to be absolutely a spectacle on the waters off Wanji. But last but not least, we've also got Lucky Dog, who unfortunately is on the bench again this weekend. But he's going to have his tape measure out, measuring all the boats, making sure everyone is up to speed and up to scratch with their boats. But he's going to be, look, Lucky Dog's going to be there with bells on, and all his boats are on the water. We've got Jet on one boat, Jody on the other, and Mr. Michael Colcliffe, Murray Cat and Taipan sailing extraordinaire, is jumping onto a Hobie Cat for the very first time.
Wow.
It's going
Wow.
to be great competition.
Oh, well,
Very
yeah,
excited.
that's amazing. And look, shout out to Gav, because I'm really disappointed he's not sailing this weekend, because I like to chase him around. I like to follow him at the start as well. So I won't know what the hell to do, without him there. And not only that, but shout out to him for doing the trip to Perth, because he was so helpful to everyone over there in Perth. If you had a problem, mate, he was right there helping you out, and he helped me put my trampoline on. And so special thanks to Gav. I look forward to seeing him this weekend, and I hope he gets better very soon. I want to see him sailing by the next event. Now, Pat, you've been mentioning all these Wanji boys, but have you ever heard of the actual Wanji boy?
Mate, you're looking at him. Born and bred. Well, born and bred JB, but I rock up to Wanji RSL and act like I own the place a little bit. Not really. But no, I can't be a Wanji boy. I don't have an RSL members card. I always still Nollies, Gramsci's whenever I go there. So but no, tell me about the Wanji boy, the Wanji boy.
Well, I've got that. There is the real Wanji boy. Now, I'll give you a little bit of time just to take that in, but that is in fact the Wanji boy. Now, it's a very famous Australian painting. I didn't know too much about it, but in my research, I found out that it's a world-renowned artist called Sir William Dobell was a Wanji local, and known worldwide as a magnificent artist. He used to drink at the Wanji Hotel. He was very popular with the locals. This is the artist Sir William Dobell. There's a reproduction of that painting hanging in the pub to this very day. So if you go into the pub, you'll see that there, the Wanji boy. And that's the story of the Wanji boy. It's a very educational and cultural program we're running here, Paddy.
I love to listen to it, and we'll all get to see that painting Friday evening when we have dinner and have a couple of beverages after a blissful afternoon sail on Lake Macquarie in 3 days' time. Looking very forward to it.
Fantastic. Now, I want to remind everybody, get your entries in, prepare for a rock solid weekend of racing Wanji style. If you haven't entered, which I think probably everyone's entered by now, Paddy, is there anyone we know of who hasn't? Is there anyone we have to wake up in the middle
Look,
of the night?
there's always going to be a few stragglers, but the early entries cut off yesterday afternoon, but entries are still open and they will be open. We sent the current entry list to Waddy and Chucky and the team at Wanji to get their results software done. Hence why we have the early entry cut off. But I think most people are going to be here. Yeah.
All right, well, get your entries in if you haven't. The format of the weekend is like any old states. The 14 cat rig battling out Windward Leeward. 16s and 18s women, youth and rookie teams are on the longer course. And then we've also got Waves and Dragoons there, which is fantastic, and they'll be on a shorter course. As usual, the Micro, what the race, the RO, and that means we all know we're in good hands there. He brings a vast amount of recent experience, having the PRO for the New South Wales State in Foster, the Jarvis Bay Classic, the Wave GP, and the Wildcat Regatta, all in 2025. So he is a member of our fraternity, and we love having him on any event.
How exciting! No, it's going to be a great weekend. And for all our New South Wales members that are going to be here, look forward to seeing you. And for everyone who's not going to be there, it's going to be an excellent weekend. We've got some interstate competitors coming. We've got Pitsy coming over from WA. Worsty and Leon are driving down from Queensland. So it's Peter Bates for the very
Oh,
first time selling a 14 since the Quinny Regatta. We also have who else we got? Andres, who's over from Mexico. He's selling a 14 for the very first time as well this weekend. So it's going to be pretty awesome. So at the time of press, we've got 25 14s that have entered, 5 16s, 3 18s, 2 waves, and Joel and River on the Dragoon. So we've also got some pretty awesome entry gifts coming our way. So, along with some unreal prizes for our winners, which I've made out of, we spent a long afternoon at Hobie Asia Pacific creating these out of a lot of old, recycled, repurposed Hobie 14 back beams and masks. So, big shout out to MB, Bridget, and Courtney for helping get all those ready. But over the weekend, Courtney and Beck have dazzled these and made them absolutely all colourful and shiny, and they look awesome. So I can't wait to get the plaques on there and the event logo, which you designed, Taylor. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a big afternoon putting all those on. But I no can't wait to get up there. It's gonna be good. We've got a lot of outs, unfortunately, especially Hobie 14 wise. Gav's obviously out. Rod's away. He's in New Zealand. Bridget can't make it. Both Mackenzie boys. Andrew's done his shoulder. Will's in Japan. So there's a fair few very, very tight races, very competitive individuals who aren't going to be here this weekend. So it's all up for grabs.
it's up for grabs, no doubt about it. Yeah, nice one. Okay, so look, um, I think, Pad, do you want to talk about? We haven't discussed nationals, so should we have
No,
a discussion about? Well, I mean, we talked about crossing the Nullarbor, but what actually happened when we got there was a fantastic regatta. I mean, it was the most incredible thing to turn up and have such a professional situation that they had going on there. I mean, with the whole Geograph Bay Yacht Club, the Shelter Brewery, and everything that went on. It was, it was a really fantastic Christmas trip. What were
oh,
your thoughts?
100%. Oh, big shout out to Geograph Bay, Cam Sues, and the rest of the WA team. Like they did so well getting such amazing sponsors on board. Who am I kidding? Pitts Design and Construction by Kobe. Who else am I looking at? Oceaneer, Shelter, Delicious Brews. The Yachty, they had, goodness, so many others. What an amazing merch. Like, are you kidding? This shirt is absolutely stunning. I've worn it sailing. I've worn it in the rigging lawn. I've worn it absolutely everywhere. It was a great event. They did so much, behind the scenes prior to, and then even during the event. We had some awesome giveaways every afternoon. I was lucky enough to win a tramp cover as an early entry prize, which was awesome. Mads and Zach won hull covers for their 16. Even Gav, who was there the whole time but didn't sail, got this awesome camp chair that was made. Susie had made out of old recycled sails. Like there was so many prizes. It was unreal. Yeah.
Well, tell us what happened in the Series 1.
What happens? Hard work. A lot of hard work. Kim Sue's put on a masterclass. Goodness me, they sailed like legends. But it was hard work. Bustleton was a tricky place to sail. You really had to keep your head out of the boat 110% of the time, pretty well. Uh, I'll tell you what, if you really want to know how it went, tune into Totally Immersed TV and watch our daily updates. There's also some excellent media from Down Under Sail, racing footage, some post racing stuff. But yeah, the footage that the Down Under Sail collected was absolutely unreal. Those photos, the footage, yeah, the filming from not only drone but on water filming, yeah, ridiculous, ridiculously good.
Yeah, nice one. Well, I'll talk about Series 2. I Series 1 from the beach. Yes, it was frustrating and tricky out there. Series 2, we got an improvement in conditions. I mean, the first day we had a bit of the light fluky stuff, but it built into a nice moderate breeze for us in Series 2. Shifty, full of holes, but nevertheless, we got tight, fierce racing. Some very influential local sailors were making felt on the podiums, but obviously some good performances from the visitors as well. Nobody in particular dominated the event, but head and shoulders above the rest, standing tall at the end of the event was an overdue victory to Mick Butler, who displayed all the consistency that you need to pull off such a victory. So, congratulations to Mick. I'm sure he was a pretty popular winner.
No, it was good to see him get his first, I think, nationals since the 90s or something ridiculous. So it was well deserved. I think our debrief at the end was the dice rolled his way probably once more than it did mine in the end. It was pretty hard. There was a moment in the last race where I thought, geez, I think I might have him here. But it wasn't to say I had the best start, boat end, looking like a hero on that first upwind, and then Bustleton happened. But
Yeah.
it was tricky stuff, and for MB to go out in the last day and get a 6, a 6, and a 6. My last day, I think my last was a 10, or a 2, a 10, and a 1, or a 1, a 10, and a 4, or so, I don't know, something like that. Just very
I
variable, and
thought
MB just
I
sailed
thought you
consistently
copped.
the whole
I
time.
I thought there was a little bit of was there not a little bit of a collision in the last race? Was that the last race?
There was.
Yeah.
I
That's a
think I was in a
shame.
pretty good position at the time, but I
Mhm.
forget his name. It might have been Peter Redway.
It
Uh,
was
crashed.
it?
You didn't see it, I don't think, because you were already around the top mark in about second or third place by that stage.
That may have been the
Best
case.
best race of the series, I think. But yeah, no good, no good after that. I've had a bent rudder arm that MB has luckily fixed for me over the last few weeks, and my mast elongated, and the downhaul came out, gooseneck came out of the mast. It was a whole thing in the last
Mm.
race. But is what it is. That's yachting
It
for you.
is exactly right, and it's all part of the fun. Now, Pat, we've got. I believe you spoke to some guests.
Yes.
As far as nationals go, we should cross over to your guests to get the report. Who have you got for us?
So I was lucky enough to catch up with the Camo and the Dazzy Smith on Saturday morning. So a few days ago, Saturday morning, right before the Pitts Design and Construction Hobie 14 State Championships in WA, and that kicked off on the Peel Inlet, and they raced out of Port Bouvard Yacht Club. So it's just sort of south of Mandurah, just around the corner from Mandurah on that inland inlet, I guess. So flat water, shallow, so you could expect plenty of chalk tops and all that jazz. But for those that have already seen the results, because it is Tuesday right now, it was a well fought battle, start to finish. So without further ado, Taylor, roll the tape.
I shall do.
All right, we're here with Dazzy and Camo in WA for the Hobie 14 Pitts Design and Construction Hobie 14 State Championships. Boys, talk to us. Where are you? What's going on? What's
Hey,
the weather
Paddy.
like?
Hey, Paddy. Hey, team. We're in a place called Dawesville, Port Bouvard, down south of Mandurah in WA. So for those of you who came over to the Nationals, we're probably about a third of the way down that way. We've got our state titles on a saltwater inland estuary just inside off the coast, and flat water, solid sea breezes forecast. So this is the actual Fremantle Doctor in action today. It's going to be smashing, and tomorrow.
Yeah, big breeze, big breeze. I think I'm looking at whitecaps already, so I reckon out there it's already 20 knots.
So what's the time at the moment? What's the time of day?
It's only just 10:15. Yeah.
Oh,
so
how
we
good.
don't start racing for 3 hours, so it'll be solid by then.
Breeze on. So
Yeah.
what's your start time for tomorrow?
9:30, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that'll be a bit untidy. That'll be a bit ugly in the morning,
Yeah.
but
breeze on in the afternoon.
Yeah. Full red.
Yeah. Good. Give us a pan around. How many boats have you got on the
So
water?
we've got 18. Daz just following me around. 18. You might not see too many sails in the background, but
18 registered.
All right.
we're just look. You'll start to see the estuary behind Daz. It's
Yeah,
out there,
lovely.
and then as we go this way, I don't know if you can see, but there's a rock wall. Sort of over there behind us, and in
Yep.
there that's the cut that goes out into the ocean. So we could easily sail out in the ocean, but
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
going to be a mission for another day, I reckon. So
Yeah,
we can
copy
walk
that.
this way a little bit more, and you'll start to see a bit more of the fleet.
Woo!
Bit of
See
action.
Elisabeth,
Getting in
Anna.
there. Yep. We've got Sue's and Daz's at boats there.
We've got 5 women teams here this year, which
How
is
good.
really lovely.
I think
Got a
that's
couple-
more than what we've got at the moment in New South Wales.
We've got a couple of Mexicans over there. They're not actually Mexicans, they're Victorians. The
Yeah, I
Mexicans
saw
came
Georgia in
over
the
to the
background.
Nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just tidying up their West Coast adventure, about to do this regatta and head home. Yeah.
Well, I've been in their ear about driving straight across the Nullarbor to Wanji next weekend for our 14 state titles, but we'll see how they go. Speaking of Mexicans, though, Andreas is set to sail, so we do have an actual literal Mexican sailing a 14 for the first time.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome. It'd be sick to have Andreas come along.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, little fella, he'll go well.
No, very much so. I think we've got just over 20 at the moment. So I've written a list of about 25 to 30 boats that aren't going to be there from New South Wales, but a good 20 odd boats for Wanji will be nice. Yeah, what else is going on there in WA? What's
We're trying to drum up how many we're going to drag over east next year. So we're going to be bringing our 16 contingent for sure.
Yep.
But then we'll also try and stick our little 14s on top and drag more boats over.
Well, we'll tend I should have got a photo of Gavin Luxton. Gav got a 16 on his trailer and a 14 upside down on top of it last weekend. So it's possible to put a 14 upside down on top of a 16. That goes all right, and I think that's done a few trips here and there. But we'll find ways. We'll work on us getting as many charter boats as possible for
We'll be full Tetris stackology, I think, but we'll figure it out. The other big thing that's in the wind is our state titles. Hobie Week up in Exmouth. That's getting really exciting. Just lined up some camping at the yacht club, so we're not blocking a few of these things away. We're hoping to get Tommy, the race officer from Paddy, to come up and run it for us. So don't tell anyone that. That's a bit of a secret. But no, it's all going pretty well. Everyone's keen. We should have a good fleet up.
What's a rough rundown of what Exmouth Hobie Week will be like? What are some of the activities other than obviously short course racing?
Yeah, so look, it's a Easter time, so we've planned a week up there with various sort of activities. So the first 2 days, we get up there Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be the short course piece, and that'll knock the state titles over.
Yep.
The second day, with support from Australian Sailing WA, we're running a Discover Sailing Day. We're going to have a wave and a couple of oppies down there, hoping some of the community come along. We might do a few rides on the 16s, because there'll be lots of 16s up there. Then the next day is the Northwest Cape Marathon. So we'll be sailing from Exmouth Yacht Club up to the tip of the Northwest Cape, out near the what they call the Navy Pier. And there's it's probably, I don't know, a couple of hours sail, depending on the breeze. It should be a flat water reach, send it both ways. So that'll be a bit of fun. Oh, yeah. And then we're having a black tie Hobie presentation event. So, dude, think of mate, just make it black tie. Yeah, just do whatever you have to do. But it's we'll have the yacht club's catering, bands, everything. They're very excited to have us up there.
Yeah, good.
So we've got a few other events, like we're looking at a team whale shark dive. We've arranged a discount with one of the whale shark providers to get us out there. So that's happening. And we're also provisionally looking to do a West Coast sail. So the West Coast is very rugged, and it's protected by the Ningaloo Reef, but there's a couple of little bays and areas where we might be able to get 16s in, and we'll go for a bash inside the reef, which would be spectacular. That's full of lots of wildlife out there, and it'll just be turtles and manta rays and
Just
whatever else.
something completely different. Yeah, how exciting.
Yeah, we were going to do a marathon around the Cape, but then when we looked at the reef off the coast, we thought, no, that's probably a bit ambitious.
Yeah, I remember doing this reef exit when we were in Fiji back in 2011 and sailing over coral and trying to navigate the way through, even back in that day without, with no navigational equipment on 16 was utterly terrifying. So, yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, we'll just stay inside it if we can. And then, we'll just have a bit of a pack up, bit of an end closing of a Hobie Week party and head home. So and maybe do some fishing. There's plenty of good fishing out there. We'll just see what happens. So, plenty on.
Oh, good stuff. Well, I tell you what, boys, I'll leave you to it. Get sorted, get out there. Good luck, fair racing. And most importantly, who do you reckon's who's going to get it?
We've got actually, no, there's a smoky. Trent Robson's jumped on
I did see that. Sorry.
Yeah. He's jumped on Boydie's 2020 boat or whatever it is. It's a flash boat with good sail. So I'm
dark horse.
I'm calling an upset.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Phil Epps on a 14 in 25 knots. That's going to be dangerous.
Let's go. That's good. Tell everyone. That's going to be sick. Well, I think we're going to record another session of this Monday with Taylor, so we'll be able to talk about the results afterwards. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how it goes. Good luck.
All right, thanks, mate. Enjoy watching next week. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you very much, Cam and Dazzy. That was an awesome insight, boys.
And now to actually sum up the weekend as a whole, I would like to invite Elisabeth Smith,
Elisabeth,
a Totally Immersed TV's favourite, onto the radio.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Elisabeth. What have you been up to today?
Oh, not much. Just boring loneliness.
Not working.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one who's worked today, but that's okay. Now, Elisabeth, you sailed in is this your first state championships?
Yes. Well,
And
first
it's
on
your
14.
first on the 14. That's the first time you have now claimed the youth state championship.
Yep.
In WA, mate, how does that feel? Prestigious line now.
It's pretty good. I mean, I was the only youth, but don't let it ruin a good story.
No,
you know?
we don't need to tell it. No one's going to know that.
No.
You don't need to tell anybody that. You got a trophy. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for the resume.
Doesn't Emma Webb qualify as a youth anymore?
She does, but for our states, it was just me.
Oh, of course. I thought we were talking about nationals. Sorry, I'm a little behind. We're talking about states. Well done.
Thank you.
So it was a record number of boats on the water, wasn't it? Was it 18? 19? 18?
18.
Wackadoo. So what's that up from last year's state titles in Geograph Bay?
So last year, I believe we had 8, and the year before was 5. So,
well, I think that's pretty safe to say that the Hobie 14 fleet in WA is more than truly growing, and I think it was epic to have such good numbers, especially after a home nationals in Busso only a month ago. How good. So what talk to us about? So I remember when I spoke to Dazzy, and we would have seen in a clip just before that it was picking up pretty solidly on day one. But talk to us about the conditions firstly, for that first day of racing.
So the first day of racing I rocked up midway through the day, but before the races. So we had 2 in lightish conditions. First one was much lighter than the second one. And then it just built from there. So by the end, I think we would have had 20 knots at the end of the day.
Flat water?
Yeah, really flat water. Until it, yeah.
Are we in the doctor
lovely.
where you are? Sorry, whereabouts are we? At Peel Bay, did you say?
So we were it's kind of next to Mandurah in Geograph Bay.
Oh,
Not Geograph Bay.
Jervis Bay?
Jervis Bay.
Not Jervis Bay.
Jervis Bay.
The other one. It's all right. It'll come back to us. But it was in the Peel. It was in that Peel Inlet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Flat, shallow water in like a kind of estuary type vibe. Yeah. How many chock tops on the first day?
Oh, on the first day, I think there was 3. I was one of them.
Respect.
Yep. And
We've all
then
been there.
I think the next day was just one, which was Dad. Yep.
Oh, with his crispy white sail too.
It's not that crispy.
No, not anymore anyway.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. And then how's the second day of racing?
Yeah, second day was good. So we got 2 races in the morning in light conditions below 10 knots. And then in the afternoon, we had 2 fairly windy races. I'd say it was about the same as the day before, getting up to 20 knots in the end.
Yeah, lovely. How did you? Obviously, you're a light air specialist. How were your 2 morning races on Sunday?
Well, on the first day, the 2 lighter races, I got an 8th and a 12th, which was massive improvement from our nationals.
Very much so. Well done.
Thank you.
Sorry, how many were in the fleet? Sorry.
18.
Oh, nicely done.
Thank you. And then the second day, I got another 8th and an 11th.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So that meant that sorry, I found these results and they're in front of me. 14th overall, not bad.
Yeah.
Ended up getting Jasmine in the end.
In the
What
end.
do? That's going to be some bragging rights for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing as
So
though
let me ask you this,
champion.
Elisabeth. How much sailing have you done between the nationals and the states now? Have you sailed every weekend, or have you got some midweek sailing in, or?
No, so we went back up to Bustleton, of course, because we can't leave the place. 2 weeks ago, Australia Day, and we did 2 days of sailing our 14s over there. So that was, yeah, in fairly
preparation.
That was the marathon weekend, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. Marathon weekends in November.
Ah, my apologies.
That's
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good fun. Well, that was a few boats there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think there was 6 of us.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Better than what we got at our Australia Day regatta, that's for sure.
Mm.
And how do you think the improvement came about? Did you just feel much better having a big regatta under your belt, or did you eat something different on the day? What do you put the improvement down to?
I'd say it's definitely just, confidence. I've gotten to know how I sail better and how the others in our fleet sail better. So I'm less scared I'm going to collide with them. Not that I didn't collide with someone this weekend.
Yeah, so you're just getting used to the racing and used to the people around you and sailing your own ways. Did you what's your tactics on the start line at the moment? What's your favourite tactic on the start line at the moment?
Well, at the moment, it's forgetting my start watch every day, just not using it. So I was following Dad for the Bustleton Australia Day regatta.
Yeah.
Now I'm just trying to figure it out on my own. So I know his timing. I've just got to figure out how I do it now.
Just do what your dad did at 16 nationals when he forgot his watch and he just looked on Colby and Josie's big clock on their sail.
That would be helpful.
A good one.
There was one race. Good. There was one race at nationals where I can't remember which race it was, but anyway, it was pretty light conditions, and you and I were close together, and we kind of were working our way to the top mark, and your dad kind of crossed us, even though he was well ahead, but he kind of crossed us, and he was ignoring me, of course, but he was giving you some tips, but I just thought, okay, I'll go that way because that's what he's just said. So I went that way, and then I was in a hole for about the next 5 minutes.
That sounds like stock standard Bustleton to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of that happening. Now, tell me and correct me if I'm wrong on this rumor that I heard on the grapevine, but you were beating your old boy at one point or a couple of points over the weekend at the state titles?
Yeah, so 1 point, I think on the second day, it was one of the lighter races, so he ended up going downwind and a bit of an upwind with me, and on our upwind, he was yelling at me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Sounds like your old boy. And tell me, what was your mother doing all weekend?
She was on the start.
Relaxing. Oh, good on her.
Yeah.
She can't not be involved.
No,
God,
she is very good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I've just bought another Hobie 14 this week. So potentially, if you want to come over and pick one up in 11 months' time and take it back over, there's one for her with a name on it.
Sounds tempting. We'll have to convince
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah, I'm always picking up more 14s than I can handle. It's yeah, I thought I was all right when I sold uh the boat to Bridget and then another boat to Sam, but no good. Got another one. But that's okay. So for those that did not end up seeing the results in the end, Camo won on 13 points ahead of Fletchy. Fletchy Oromai was on 18. Dazzy was on 20. Then Jason Spencer had 36. Trent Robson, the dark horse for the weekend, finished on 38. And then that was followed by Brad, 44. Andrew Boyd, 47. Phil Epps, 49. Georgia, 51. Wow, that is so close. 2 points in between every person. And then Susie Susie was 10th. So Georgia won the women's. Susie was 10th, followed by Robin Dinsdale, then Pitsy, then Forco, then myself, Jasmine, Michael Verrill, Mark Preedy, and then Anna.
Yep.
How good. What a weekend.
Was
Well, that's just getting me very excited for this coming weekend, Taylor.
Yes.
That's for sure. But very quick,
Yes.
because we touched on it earlier, Elisabeth, and tell us about what it was like being at Freo for the SailGP.
Oh, it was
Oh,
good.
yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good. We were sat down near the gate on the, I think we were on the starboard side.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the sea breeze came in and they all seemed to be getting it. So it was excellent to watch.
And you only went for the one day?
Yeah, we had to go sailing the next day. We got jealous.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough, as you would be. I tell you what, having been to Sydney the last few years watching it, I tell you what, Freo looked beautiful. Looked
It
like
did.
an absolutely gorgeous racetrack, but like spectator wise, it looked just pretty, super pretty. Was there? I can't remember. Was there many boats on the water watching, like spectator, like bring your own type boats?
I think there were, but we've talked to some of them and they said it wasn't as good as being in the stands.
Just the atmosphere in the stands was
Yeah, and we were much closer.
electric. Yeah. Oh, true. Of course,
Yeah,
because that was right at the bottom of the course, wasn't it?
yeah.
And the finish line. Yeah. Oh, how good. Well, we're
Definitely.
very jealous, that's for sure. Sort of wish I'd stayed over for it, but oh well, maybe next time.
Yeah,
But no,
absolutely.
we've got Sydney in what, 3 weeks' time, so and then the Kiwi events this weekend. So I mean, our states is going to be fun. We'll get to come in off the water and watch the Auckland event, which is going to be lots of fun at 1GRSL. Cool, amazing. All right, well, I'll tell you what, Taylor. I reckon let's jump into our first weekly segment,
Our first
which will
weekly segment.
wrap up our yarn for this evening, this Tuesday evening.
All righty then. Well, our first weekly segment for the show this week is, and the last topic of the evening, as you say, what do you think, Elisabeth? Let's start with you. What do you think are the 5 most important things you need to take on a road trip across the Nullarbor? Okay. What do you think, Elisabeth?
Well, definitely, because I don't drive, so I need my parents. Otherwise, I'm not getting anywhere.
Good.
Um, we usually take an extra couple liters of fuel just in case. So, I need my headphones and lots of music because although it's family time, I don't want to speak to them for 5 days. I
Yeah,
love
fair
them,
play.
but no. And definitely pillows. I sleep a lot. And lastly, I'd say you, you need lots of snacks, like fresh
Yeah.
fruit and stuff. Although you have to throw it away halfway through, you still get some fresh fruit.
As long as you can eat it all right in
Yeah,
time.
there's a lot of eating on the last day before the Sejuna.
Fair
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
How good. So as it is a weekly segment talking about our 5 things for whatever it's going to be, depending on the week. Taylor, what are your 5 things to take across the Nullarbor? Because you obviously drove it for the first time.
Yeah, I drove it for the first time. It was a really fabulous trip. I'm glad I did it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a spectacular trip in terms of the road and the geography and just, what a country this is. Really amazing. And I mean, it changes. It's all amazing. The only thing I saw all the good highlights and loved it. I would have loved to have stopped at one of the big salt plains and checked them out. In fact, the night that I stayed at Norseman, there was a whole bunch of these dudes with those land speed record challenging type vehicle things. And they were all staying at the caravan park in Norseman, and they were going to go out the next day onto the salt flats and go for some speed record thing. So I was having a couple of beers at the caravan, asking about them, about their things, and I would have loved to have gone and watch those guys do that. So yeah, I wouldn't have minded seeing the salt flats. But anyway, back to the question at hand. I do apologise for getting off track. So look, the 5 most important things to me: spare tyres. I did have one flat on the trip home. So obviously spare tyres. I mean, you'd be an idiot if you didn't take spare tyres, but that's pretty important. The 12-volt fridge in the back of the car, which was a Christmas present, was outstanding, I've got to say. I could have cold Gatorades and cold water, and then as soon as you get to your place where you get to in the evening, whatever destination you get into, you got a cold beer right there ready to go. So that's awesome. Download all your maps and your podcasts because there's not much phone reception out there. I mean, in fairness to Telstra, if you want to be fair to Telstra, it was better than what I was expecting to be. But I did download all my maps, and on the last day, actually, I was really lucky because I turned off the main road on the last day going down to Busselton, so I didn't have to go into Perth. And I was on all these backlogging roads, and there was no phone reception all day that day. So I'm really glad I obviously downloaded all those maps. Tell you maps, lollies. I had a lot of junk food in that car on that trip. And book your campsites in advance, I think, is the other thing, because it was pretty busy at that time of year. It was hard to get a spot. So there was one night at Esperance where we hadn't booked anything, and they just sent us to the overspill place for people who are disorganised, and that was at the Esperance Showgrounds. And we rocked in there about 4:30, and there was about 30 vehicles there. And then we went into town and got dinner. By the time we came back, I reckon there was 150 rigs in that place. It was busy as hell, but we got a nice shower there and everything was fine. So yeah, book your stuff in advance. Book your overnight in advance. That's my top 5, Paddy.
Oh, good stuff. Well, I did my trip across the Nullarbor a little bit differently to what you did, Taylor, and what MB and Gavin did with the Hobie van. Thanks to Hobie Asia Pacific for providing that and the big stack of trailer to get all 5 or 6 boats over there. So Courtney and I rock started. We flew across the Nullarbor, which yeah, look, it would have been nice to have done the drive. I'm quite envious of yourself and the Webbs and everyone else who got to drive across. But like Mum and Dad had a great trip home. I think I spent 2 weeks in total cruising back. But my 5 things that I found essential to bring across the Nullarbor when you're going across by air, a spare change of clothes just in case. I just find that, planes can get a bit yucky, especially when you're up there for 5 hours plus or so. So that's always a big one. Headphones, a no-brainer. Deodorant, when you're sitting there, it will get stinky by the end of it. A charger, goodness me. Charger for laptop, charger for phone, charger for headphones. And most importantly, a book to make it look like I'm actually reading and not just listening to music and watching movies. Make myself look a little bit sophisticated. And that's my 5 things that I took across the Nullarbor.
Nice one. Nice one, Paddy. Well, Elisabeth, thanks so much for joining us this evening. You're our first special guest, so you're, very special in that regard. Thanks heaps for coming on tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
That's a pleasure.
What have episode yeah, we'll wrap this episode up now. And as you can see, we got some subscribers on Totally Immersed TV. If anyone else wants to smash that button, go for it. But that's you do you. It's embarrassing me hearing me say that now.
No, like
anyway,
us, subscribe us, notify us, do everything.
fair enough. All right, I'm Paddy.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Elisabeth.
This is Totally Immersed TV on the radio.
On the radio.
See you later.
See you next time.